Hi, this is Tony. Welcome to season 2, episode 5, where we discuss the 1999 cult classic 10 Things I Hate About You. Let's get into it. Dear listeners, just when you thought that it couldn't get any worse, it's about to get funnier. Sincerely, Tactless.
I'm Sasha. I'm a girl with a warm heart, and I'm already sick of your shit, so don't try me. But I still love you.
I'm Tony. I'm a frustrated musician who will tell you to your face, being a dog mom is not a thing.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. I'm the tiny lady marmalade that holds this turd sandwich together.
Sasha won't be joining us today. We heard rumors that she could have been a suspect in a murder on the Orient Express, or perhaps contracted a necrotizing fasciitis caused by an invasive streptococcus. Well, either way, we miss you, Sasha. Look forward to reuniting up soon.
Alrighty, so we watched the movie 10 Things I Hate About You with all actors that we know from other things now.
The 90s cast of Friends.
Yeah, exactly. I know. In fact, I was like, yes. So we have, what is it? The Joker. We have the guy from Third Rock from the Sun. We have the guy from Numbers. We have the girl from Alex Mack.
It was a different time back then, you know.
It totally was. They had Bared Naked Ladies in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
They had like all the bands from that year, I guess, that were kind of cool.
Yeah, they had a lot of good music in there when you think about it. I mean, it seems like whoever produced it was focusing on featuring bands or featuring music, because there's a couple different bands that actually are in the movie too, playing their own music and whatnot, which I think is a cool idea that they don't really do anymore. You know, they don't really feature modern artists in movies like that, but it was kind of a 90s teen movie thing to do, I think, too, you know, just to throw out like whatever's popular at the moment. But man, what a trip down memory lane to listen to ska music, right?
I know. Did you listen to ska back then?
Oh yeah, I loved ska back then.
Yeah.
And anyone who says that they didn't like it is just, they're lying.
They are
You
lying.
know?
They're totally lying.
Everybody liked it back then. It was the thing, you know? It's okay. We can admit it now. We've grown, we've moved on, but you know, I still didn't mind a brass section with my whatever kind of punk rockish. I don't even know what that was, but there was like 8 million ska bands back then. Remember that?
Oh my gosh, yeah, you could lose count. And then we had, what was it? It was before Napster. There was like a music sharing site where all like these small bands could put their stuff on it too.
Yeah, I only remember using Napster and LimeWire. Is that what you're remembering?
Maybe it's LimeWire, but yeah, I remember we would find like local bands that way too, and you'd be like, "Did you hear so and so?" And they're like, "No, I don't know who that is." And you'd be like, "Yeah, they're recording out of their garage, but it's it's pretty cool."
But yeah, that was the time when like, and I don't know if people still do this because I'm old now and decrepit. I don't have time for it, but I mean, it used to be like the thing that you knew of a band that was just underground and nobody knew about them, and it was like gave you street cred, you know. It's this great unsigned band that no one knows about. You could talk about them and feel important and stuff.
That was the truth, wasn't it? Yeah, you were like extra cool if you found out the band or whatever.
Oh yeah, and then if they made it big at some point, or at least like had some kind of following, you'd be like, yeah, well, I liked them when they were still recording in their mom's living room, and you know, we went off on a musical tangent here for a minute, but that's okay.
Yeah, I figured you kind of had to. We have you on the line, so why not, right? Our music guy.
I wonder what happened to some of those bands, though. It's gonna be something I'm gonna have to look up after this too. Like, where is Save Ferris now? You know,
Oh, dude, yeah, because they did like a almost like a ballady song for a movie
really?
years later. Yeah. Oh my goodness. They broke up in 2002 due to creative differences.
Oh well, they're probably like, Ska's not that cool anymore. We have to fire the brass section.
We kind of
They were
had
like,
to.
hey, screw you. We're not.
Yeah. Alas. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was a good era for music. Anyway, getting back to it. So I'm like trying to figure out where to begin too, because I'm like, look at all these cars that we like. There was a cabriolet. I was like,
Yep.
dang.
Brings you back all this cool 90s things. And I don't know. The first car I ever drove was a cabbie.
Oh, serious? Oh
Yep.
man. The movie 10 Things I Hate About You is based on the William Shakespeare play, Taming of the Shrew, which looking back to, it's kind of funny. We had a kind of a ska era, and we had kind of a movies based on Shakespeare era too, like teen movies
Yeah.
based on Shakespeare. So
Yeah.
there was, what was it? Oh, and then all these other like kind of things. There was a legit Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
They
So
tried to like modernize it or what. That
yeah.
was a disaster from what I remember.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. Not recommended if you haven't seen it.
If anyone is gonna get my Orange County reference, there was Waterworld
Oh
based
my
on the
gosh.
Shakespeare play Chocolat. Another great movie everyone has to watch is Orange County.
Oh no.
I couldn't help it. I'd throw that in there.
We're showing our age now,
It's one of
dude.
my favorites. That's okay. People don't know how old we are by now. They've not been listening too intently, I guess.
It's funny because the other day, our pals, Getting Down and Wordy, the other podcast, they asked on Twitter, what is your like demographic or whatever? Or do you reach like a wide demographic? And I was like, actually, it's sad. We reach like our age group, not like intentionally, but so if they're listening to us,
Yeah.
they're probably in our age group anyway. Thank you guys.
That's good. We're all old together. We can just reminisce for a minute. Ska music and crappy 90s movies. That's okay.
Yeah, you guys know what's up. It's good. So to start off, we go to Padua High School, which obviously is Shakespeare, like it's kind of a lazy Shakespeare reference there. We got our friend Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's going to school. He's the newbie kid and getting introduced by, what's his name? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember his name. The guy from Numbers.
Oh gosh.
I literally just have Numbers guy here.
Yeah, I'm bad with names of people that I know personally, and when it comes to celebrities and stuff, forget it.
Anyway,
I'm
he's
not very
lucky.
good with that.
He gets Numbers guy as his tour guide or whatever. And I thought it was funny too, because Numbers guy lays out like all the school cliques.
Yeah,
in
he's
the
got his
schoolyard.
ear to the streets, man. I thought that was funny. It's one of those like little, almost like pseudo montage things where you're like walking to school and like, oh, that's so and so, and those are the weirdos, and those are the potheads, and like there's all these stereotypical groups everywhere.
It was funny. Yeah, he had the beautiful people, the coffee people,
Yeah.
the white Rastas, which could be racist, I'm pretty sure, cowboys, and the future MBAs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys have cliques in your high school when you graduated?
A little bit. One of the high schools I went to a couple different ones. The bigger high school I went to had some cliques,
Yeah.
but it was it it wasn't so obvious, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was in the South.
Okay.
So we had like a group of all these like redneck kind of, stereotypical Southern wear camo to school people.
Hmm. Hmm.
I remember that. And then there was like, gonna go ahead and date myself again. There was like a group of like skaters and a group of like kind of rock emo kids or whatever, and stuff like that. Preppy kids,
Yeah.
stuff, but it wasn't so like hardlined, I don't think, from what I remember. But when you make a movie, you have to make it seem like a little more, a little, I don't know, amped up, I guess,
Yeah, that's
for
funny
for entertainment factor.
for sure.
Because anyway,
What clique would you have belonged to?
I hung out with like the skater rocker people
Mm.
because I played guitar when I was in high school, so I kind of got in with the other people that played whatever instruments, and I was kind of like anti everything at that point in my life. So
Oh
like
no.
didn't fit in with I didn't do any extracurricular activities. So like I didn't have a club, I didn't play sports, I didn't do any of that stuff. So
Oh my
just kind of
gosh.
fell in with that.
Did
And
you
that
have
was
an anarchy patch on your backpack?
no, I had a Misfits patch though.
Oh, dude. Okay, that was just as
Yep.
good.
Yeah, I was there. I had a lot of patches on my backpack. That was so cool.
That's funny. And I was the opposite, as you probably realized. I was I hung out with the kids who were valedictorian and salutatorian all 4 years. So there you go.
Yeah, and I didn't devote that much time or effort to anything back then. So,
Yeah.
you know, funny how life changes, huh?
It yeah, I know. I know you're incredibly hardworking. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Well, to get back to our story, in other news. So we meet Kat Stratford, who is Julia Stiles, who is our shrew apparently, which
She's true, all right.
her sister calls a heinous bitch, I believe is the correct term. And her sister Bianca, who is Alex Mack, whatever her real name is, yeah, who's kind
I
of
used to love that show, by the
right.
way.
I know.
I had a crush on her. I thought she was cute.
Ah,
I think everybody did, though.
I think yeah, that was like the era, right?
Yeah,
That was a cute show. Love that. Was that on like the Friday night Nickelodeon
I
deal?
think so.
Yeah.
I just remember like this is off topic, but I have to say, she was in like some kind of radioactive accident. She like turned into like a puddle and like move around.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was a concept, but it was great.
It
Oh
was. And the effects, man, they were amazing for the
my
time.
gosh, that CGI back then. Whew.
And now she's like I guess the hot girl on campus because she's headed to high school, kind of funny. And I like to, what did she say? Her sister was popular or something and then got tired of it. That's what
Yeah,
she said
something
about
like
Kat.
that.
So yeah, our Joseph Gordon-Levitt immediately falls for her, and then in walks the jock slash model guy who's also incredibly dumb. You got to have that trope in the movie, right?
Yeah. He gosh, I was just mentioning this to somebody the other day because one of my favorite parts is he's like showing someone a headshot of himself or something, right?
Hmm.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, you look pensive," and he goes, "Yeah, thoughtful's what I was going for."
Oh
And
shoot, yeah.
I just that part gets me every time because I'm like, he's such an idiot, and that's totally his character right there. Like he's a good looking guy, but the dude couldn't put a sentence together if he wanted to.
All right, I know, so beautiful, but so stupid.
Got money though. He's got money to
He
pay
did.
people off,
Oh my gosh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so Kat and Bianca have like a really strict dad. who says that they can't date until they graduate. And then he's like, oh, guess what? You could date when Kat dates, he tells Bianca, which
Yeah, because he
like,
didn't think there was a chance in hell Kat was gonna date anybody.
yeah, he was banking on that. She's the rocker girl. She's anti. She's she's against everything.
Definitely not a warm person.
No, not whatsoever. And what kind of car is she driving? That
It's
was
like an old Plymouth Valiant.
yeah, I was like, that was spot on, right? She's the rocker girl. She's got to have the old car.
Yeah, doesn't care about anything. She wears
Yeah.
like cargo pants and crap like that. Yeah.
Spot on, yeah. And her sister's all cute and sunshine and rainbows,
Yeah.
that kind of girl. Absolutely hilarious. So what happened to us?
What had
What
happened was
our friend Cameron / Justin Gordon-Levitt wants to date Bianca, and she kind of talks him into helping her find her sister a date, essentially, right? Like trying to get her sister out there so she can date. She actually likes the stupid but very attractive football player guy.
yeah, we all
But
make
poor
mistakes.
Cameron is caught in the yeah, I know, you got to do it once in your life, right? You got to date like
Yeah.
the hot one.
You
and
got to go for
realize-
that at some point until you figure
Yeah.
out there's nothing of substance there usually.
Yeah, usually not. They're operating on not all cylinders. It's okay. We've all done it. We've all been there. But yeah, so poor Joseph Gordon-Levitt is on a mission to get a date for Kat, and they settle on the also anti Heath Ledger.
Who's the Dread Pirate Roberts of this movie, where he has like some reputation for like murdering a whole tribe or I don't know what. People had all kinds of weird rumors they were talking about this guy. You've
It
been
was
to
great.
prison and all kinds of
Yeah, like all the urban legends about him. He's like, yeah, he ate a
Yeah.
duck while it was
Yeah.
still alive or whatever. Which of course is a perfect match for the Shrew, right?
Well, yeah, sandpaper and sandpaper there.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely fabulous. So they get into like, it's pretty funny because they kind of get this caper going, right? They're like, oh, let's pay the dumb guy. You will get the dumb guy to pay Heath Ledger to date Kat, so Joseph Gordon-Levitt can date Bianca.
It's a complicated plan, but they do execute it pretty well, to be honest with you. Because they get this dumb pretty boy to give Heath Ledger, I don't know how much, I forget how much money it was, but he pays him like per date, right?
Yeah.
Like paying him cash to take out this girl so that her sister could be available. And ooh.
They were pretty persuasive, I have to say. It's funny too, because obviously Kat is like not going for it. Like in the beginning, she's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I heard you killed your grandma or something. Aren't you the guy that like stole the police car and drove it to Juarez? I don't know, but yeah. But yeah, so they go to, and it's funny because they go to that party. Poor Bogey Lowenstein at his house.
Oh gosh.
And he's all dignified and drinking out of a snifter and all that. And all the school shows up at this party.
And it gets wild.
It does. It gets out of hand. So Kat has gone to the party with the Ledge. I guess that's kind of fitting, right? He's like a legend, but not really.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So she does that cringe. She gets super drunk because she's there.
She gets wildly drunk and acts a fool.
Yeah.
Starts
and
dancing on the table and whatever else. Oh,
super cringe.
not a good look. No. Especially for the girl that everyone is like, isn't that the girl that hates everything? Dancing on the table like a crazy person? Yeah. That's her.
She does. And then she pukes. And it's funny because Heath Ledger is kind of like her babysitter at this point, not her date.
Yeah. He very kindly takes care of her, which, yeah, you got to hand it to him for being such a such a badass ex-convict, murderer, whatever he is. He's a pretty considerate guy, you
He
know?
is. I know. And she says something like, "You're not as vile as I thought you were," or something like that. That's the highest of compliments from Kat.
That's about as good as it gets from her, yeah.
Absolutely hilarious. Which is kind of funny too, because she's like, it's kind of softening to him a little bit. It took holding her hair while she was puking to get to that point.
If that ain't love, I don't know what is.
Right. Hold out for that person.
Yeah.
So after she does the cringy dance at Bogey Lowenstein, I just like his name. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep saying it.
Okay.
Grip it and rip it, that guy.
Oh god.
Anyway, so he holds her hair while she's puking. She says he's not so vile, and then he drives her home because she's obviously stinking drunk, right?
Yeah.
So she tries to put the move on him, and he does the gentlemanly thing and doesn't let her kiss him because she's drunk.
Commendable though.
Yeah,
Him.
that was really good for a teen movie. Holy smokes, was that good? That was a good message.
Yeah, yeah. And then she like got her feelings hurt or whatever. She felt ashamed.
And she
She's
hated
not
him.
supposed to like anybody.
No.
Yeah.
She hated him with the power of 1,000 suns or something like that. Yeah, that's what she did.
Hellfire. Yeah, but then he
Yeah.
she's a soccer player, so she's having soccer practice in their little stadium deal.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets one of the, I don't remember who it is, he gets some kid from the school to play a song over like the loudspeaker, and he has a wireless microphone and he's running up and down the bleachers singing.
Like one of the best moments, right?
Yeah, she's just too good to be true. But the best part is that the security guards are chasing him around after a minute. he's like slapping him on the ass and stuff as he's running away from it. And I'd like to think that he just came up with that on his own, because he looked like he was having a good time. Genuinely, he was having fun, So I'd like to think he came up with that one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he did look like he was having a good time. That was like, well, that's like the best part of the movie to me. I think that's a really and it's funny because he's like this urban legend as a bad boy, and he's singing Frankie Avalon, and you're like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely a odd mix of things going on in this movie, for sure.
Really? I know it's Scott.
Yeah. But it did touch her heart,
It did.
He kind of got to her.
I
think putting himself out there like that. So that was helpful.
It was good. So she gets to go to prom with the ledge, and Bianca, I don't quite recall what exactly happened there, but she had agreed to go with Cameron and kind of stands him up in a way, sort of. She goes, like, abandons him at the prom, doesn't she? Or is it before the prom? Because he comes to pick her up, right? Her dad is all like, what's with the pregnant belly or whatever.
Oh my gosh. I forgot about that. He makes him wear the like fake pregnant belly thing. So they you try to convince him not to have sex.
Wear the belly.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's like a weighted vest that makes it look like you're pregnant.
Oh gosh, yeah, like your worst nightmare for single dads.
Oh my god. I would never do that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I couldn't imagine.
But yeah, in the end, she ends up ditching the pretty boy, right?
Yeah, she does. This is
And
not cool.
and her sister finds out that Ledge had been paid to go out with her
Mm-hmm.
and gets pissed because she really had feelings for him.
Yeah.
And he tries to like explain to her that yeah, at first, you know, he was doing it because they were paying him, and then he really fell for her. So the coolest part, spoiler alert for the end, guys. He uses the money and buys her a Fender Strat and leaves it in her car. If anybody wants to do that for me, I'll love you forever too.
That would be so funny. You walk outside now and there's gonna be a fender in your car.
I'm okay with it. If anybody really wants to get to me, that's the way to do
You heard it here first, folks.
it. Just in case you were curious.
Right. For our Tony fans. Too funny. Yeah, he
But
does.
there's some just like good little like tidbit scenes that I recall that don't necessarily like add or subtract from the storyline, but they're
Mhm.
just hilarious. Um like when Ledge gets put in detention. Remember that scene?
Yeah. Oh no.
And and she comes in to try to like bail him out or like get him out of detention. So she has to distract the teacher who's having detention with all these kids, who happens to be the coach. So she ends up flashing him to distract him while Heath Ledger like sneaks off in the back because she's trying to explain to him how they have like a new strategy for winning soccer games, that they're going to distract the other team, and he's like, well, how are you going to distract them? And then she just whoop.
That's how you do it. Yeah, the other
That's how
team
you
will be
distract
like,
everybody.
and then you score.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
But
god.
like there's little parts in it like that that just crack me up. Like the part where the pretty boy guy is she's like in a store, and he like parks his car behind her car so she can't get out. She gets pissed off at him and runs her car into the side of his
Right.
car.
Oh my god. There are just so many things wrong with this movie too. And
There's
I
a
forgot
bunch
to
of little
mention
things like that.
the beginning too with the what was it, was she the guidance counselor? Miss Perky?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's something like that. She's like writing an explicit romance novel on the job. Yeah, it was just like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
there's like
Insane.
all of these like little like side things in this movie that really you almost have to watch it a couple times to really let them sink in, you know, and appreciate them. But they don't really have anything to do with the story necessarily. They're just
They
funny.
don't. And yeah, oh, the prom when what's his name? Pretty boy tries to mm, like get into a fight with Cameron slash Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Bianca decks him.
That part's pretty good too.
My nose. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's not gonna be able to model anymore with his nose broken.
Ah, darn. Yeah, he just ruined his career. Who cares? And then, of course, the famous 10 Things I Hate About You poem ending in, I don't hate you, not a little bit, not at all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whatever. That was
Yeah,
kind of crazy.
that part's not for me because you know I don't get too sappy. But
No. Well, and
I
that,
get it. I get why it's there.
yeah, but you know, you had to have the title in the movie.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was kind of that era.
Mm-hmm.
I know. And I'm like, that was cringy to me too, because you're in English class and you're reading it to this guy, and everybody knows you're reading it to this guy. No, thank you.
Yeah, I think that would only happen in a movie. I wouldn't have the guts to write a poem about somebody in my class and then read it for the whole class. Not something like that
No, heck no,
personal, you know?
no. That'd be, yeah, utter mortification. Oh my gosh.
Right?
And you would think she'd want to keep up her street cred as the shrew of the school, you know.
She gave it up for the ledge.
I don't know. I don't know if it was worth. I'm just kidding.
We love you,
And
ledge.
yeah, we love you, Ledge. I know. And he, as a surprise, I forgot he gets letters to Cleo to sing at the prom.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part too. Because it's like
Yeah.
one of her favorite bands.
Yeah, because we saw Save Ferris in the flesh and letters to Cleo in the threat in the flesh. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And at the end, they're on the roof of the school, right?
Yeah, singing "I Want You to Want Me." Oh my gosh! Well, everybody's making out below. I'm just kidding. I don't think that's what happened.
It could. It could. We don't know.
Because we're flying over the school with
Yeah.
this band.
It panned out too far. We couldn't tell. Everyone gets detention now.
Yeah. That's what they're doing. They're all in detention. After you're pulling all these shenanigans, you like hit that guy's car, you punch that guy at the prom.
I know. They're scrappers, right?
Oh my goodness. Flash the soccer
Yeah,
coach.
she flashes the coach. I couldn't help but think, like, what if that happened now? It would be the biggest deal in the whole world. You know what I mean?
That's what I kept thinking when I watched the, because when you're a teenager watching it for the first time, it's a totally different effect than
Yeah.
now when you're old and decrepit and you're like, holy crap, all of these teachers would be fired. They would
Oh,
have
guaranteed.
sexual harassment suits against them, I'm pretty
Right?
sure. Maybe pedophile charges.
They'd all be sex offenders. And,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah. And these kids, they'd be all in like military school.
The 90s were a simpler time, okay?
Oh my gosh.
People weren't so strict.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bad movie, but it's good. Don't do this at home, kids.
No.
But the interesting thing about it was like there were all these like interconnections, all these relationships to kind of look at too. Like the stupid jock who's obviously very narcissistic, but he's not
Yeah.
like smart enough to be, like a
He's not smart enough to be cunning
Okay.
in any way.
yeah, pretty hysterical.
Yeah.
But you have like the father-daughter relationship with Kat and Bianca and their dad.
Oh my gosh, their dad cracks me up. The stuff that he
Insane.
says.
Yeah, he's
And making him
nuts.
wear the belly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny how Kat and Ledge are like pretty, they have like a pretty stable relationship once they get over the fact that he's like trying to pull one over on her and she's doomed. She's like, I'm gonna hate you forever. Because he's not as vile as she thought.
Oh, he's a really nice guy.
And then of course Cameron, who is like the most stable, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's like the most stable person. He doesn't
Yeah, he's like the middle of the road, like nice guy. Drives a Volvo.
Yeah. That's the kind you want to end up with, right?
Just a nice guy, Very considerate.
I thought that was funny. And
He's
it's
got
nice
the baby
too.
face thing.
Right. Yeah, he's gonna be cute for a long time, you know this.
What you gotta go for.
All right.
Baby face with a safe car.
Right? Yeah, I know. He's practical and he's cute.
That's
What more
right.
do you want?
Package deal, guys. You don't need to go for the bad boy or the pretty boy.
No.
Down
Yeah,
the middle.
the guy with the Volvo, who's just he's great. We'll learn. What did he learned French for her, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, huh? Oh gosh, I kind of did that when I was in high school.
Uh-oh.
There was a girl that I had like the biggest crush on. I was like all about her. And her family was all from Germany. I was like, I'm taking German in high school. I'm gonna, impress her so that I could talk about German stuff with her. It didn't really work that well, but It kind
Aw.
of did. It worked as well as it could have, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah, for
totally
high
did.
school, right?
Yeah, when you're like a freshman, sophomore in high school, you can't expect a whole lot.
Yeah, not so much. I know. You're just
Loving gesture, though.
that was very nice though.
Learning a
Well,
language for somebody.
for a girl, yeah. I mean, we do crazy things for
I couldn't
love
help it. She was
sometimes.
really cute.
Oh, okay. I mean, that works, right? It was for a good reason.
Yeah.
Not that somebody was paying you off to go out with
No,
their
I didn't get
sister.
paid. No. Definitely didn't get paid.
Did you watch that in the theater when it came out? Do you remember? I was trying to remember. I don't.
I don't think I did. I don't remember watching it in the theater. I remember watching it like at home
Mm-hmm.
a few times. Like I've seen it, probably 4 times over the years or so. But I don't remember watching it in the theater.
Yeah, I don't think
so.
I don't think I did either when it came out. I know I had it on VHS at one time. Again,
Whoa.
aging myself here.
Whoa. Hope you remembered to rewind that before you returned it, or it's
Right.
$6.
Be kind, rewind.
Right? The old days of Blockbuster. No one knows
Oh,
what
man.
Blockbuster is anymore.
I know, it's gone. Too funny. All right, so who's your favorite character from 10 Things I Hate About You?
Ooh. I'd have to go with Ledge.
Yeah.
Just because he's like the badass of all the characters, you know. But he's also like kind of goofy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I guess I kind of I don't know, connect with him in that way. Because everybody knows how much of a badass I am. Maybe how much of a badass I wish I was. But I'm also goofy. Oh yeah. I think that's really it.
Oh, yeah. He's a good character, that's for sure. And I love how dynamic he is too. Most
Yeah.
people are pretty constant, in the movie or whatever, but he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll try this out." He thinks he's being all bad and he falls in love and he like changes overnight. Kind of cool. That's a neat character. Neat movie.
How about you? Who do you identify with?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I would probably have said Kat like when I was younger because I was a little bit like her in high
Yeah.
school and college. Funny story, I almost went to Sarah Lawrence too, by the way. But anyway, yeah, because I was like a flaming feminist during the 90s. But yeah, I like looking now at Ledge and just like his like the way they developed his character and stuff. It's just so endearing. I'm
It
like
is, yeah.
really endearing. I like it. Yeah, I don't.
Because he like
Yeah.
almost goes the full spectrum of
Right.
being a bad boy, being kind of like I don't really care about anybody when
Mm-hmm.
he's taking money to date this girl, to he really does truly fall in love with her and care about her at the end. So you kind of see him go through that whole spectrum of like the way you view his character. So it kind
Mhm.
of it kind of makes him really endearing by the end.
I would wish they would do. Well, no, you don't want like a sequel. That would be
Oh gosh, what would that do?
10 Things I Hate About You too. 20 Things I Hate About You. Sorry.
11 things I kind of like, but not really like, because they fall in love in the end. You can't hate things about them after that, right?
That's true. Yeah.
What would
Yeah.
you
10
do?
things I kind of like about you, but sometimes not. I don't know.
10 things to talk to our couples therapist about.
That would be the next one.
That would be horrible. No one would watch.
It'll end
Oh.
up being like that one. What was it? Oh my gosh, with Adam Driver, the divorce movie. I didn't watch it, but yeah, it won like an Oscar.
No.
And it was like following them through a divorce and it was like all
Oh
gritty.
gosh.
That would be the second.
Doesn't sound very good.
No, it doesn't. I don't know why people like that stuff. I'm like,
I don't know either.
I watch these movies for like a happy thing to happen.
Yeah, right. You want some closure at the end, like things to be good.
Right? I don't want it to look like my real life.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I already have that right in front of me to look at. I don't need more.
No, no, thank
Remind me of
you.
my shortcomings on the big
Right.
screen. Thanks. Love you guys too.
This is
It
supposed to
cuts,
be entertainment.
yeah, it cuts too deep. I don't like it.
No, no. Oh, I did want to ask your opinion actually on one thing, totally unrelated. J-Lo recently married Ben Affleck after
Okay.
she was married to, oh no, she was dating A-Rod, right? They were engaged or whatever,
I think
I
so.
think. It's
For
hard to keep
some
track.
time. Yeah.
So yeah, she went from, so I think Ben Affleck, Mark Anthony, A-Rod, and then back to Affleck. Recently there was some outrage because she signed her fan club newsletter Mrs. Affleck instead of J-Lo. And so people were like, holy crap, what is this chick doing? This is anti-feminine, bowing to the patriarchy,
Oh my
yada
God.
yada
Get
yada
over
yada.
yourself.
Well, hilariously, I watched that movie Marry Me with her and Owen Wilson over the weekend. And in it, she makes a speech. Women should be able to choose who they marry. They should be able to keep their last name, yada, yada, yada. And then she goes and takes his last name. So I was like, what the what? Okay, no, I get why there's kind of an uproar because she makes this feminist speech in this movie.
Yeah, but that might not be how she thinks about it. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, kind of wanted your thought on it. Like as a dude, your ex did take your last name, but like if you were to take the plunge again, what would your thoughts be?
To be honest, I'd probably hurt if my spouse did not take my name.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a one foot in the door, 1 foot out the door kind of thing. You
Oh,
know,
okay. Yeah.
I would see it as like if you really committed and you really want to be with me, like this is what you're gonna do, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that it's necessarily like a hill I would die on,
Mm-hmm.
but I would feel a little bit hurt, if I had that conversation and they were like, "Hey, I'm not gonna take your name." I'd be like, "Why?" You know,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't that point to something else? Like, do you not want to fully commit to this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause it
Yeah.
kind of it kind of speaks to that to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like you still want to be, and I understand like when you get married, you still have to be your own person and you still have to
Mm-hmm.
have your own identity. But being married, you're supposed to only have this one person,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the both of you together from that point on. So I don't know.
Yeah, like joining the Yankees and you're both Yankees and not a Yankee and a Red Sox.
Right?
So
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. That's a topic I struggle with, now being really established in my career with my father's last name. Like what would that look like at my age, changing it all of a sudden, be like,
Yeah.
what the heck is up with this girl?
See,
But
that's one thing that like that's a weird gray area because let's say you really are I don't know, you're a doctor who has their own practice.
mhm,
You can't really change your name like that in the middle of something like that, or you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like I would probably understand it more in a case like that, like from a professional standpoint, depending on what your profession is, obviously. But
Mhm.
you know, I think that's a good case. If you built a career on your name and you kind of don't want to change it at this point. That makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Or I guess I could hyphenate it technically, but that
Yeah,
would
you
be kind of
could,
weird
but
depending on what it would be.
I don't honestly rather just one or the other. I
Yeah.
don't really like the hyphenated last name thing. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the people I've known who have hyphenated last names, but
Yeah.
just screams pretentious to me. You
It
know,
could be. Yeah. It could very well be. Or it could be disastrous.
depending on what they are.
Yeah. It could be bad. On the upside, there's like a third option where you could be professionally Mrs. Smith or Miss Smith from your maiden name and then Mrs. Affleck at home,
Yeah, you
And then
could, or You mix your last names together into one new name.
Right. Something incomprehensible.
Smithlek.
Smith
Ugh. No.
Alex Smith.
Oh, that would be horrible.
What is the etymology behind this name? We couldn't
Right.
decide.
If you have a suggestion for a fresh topic, drop us a line at sincerelytactlesspod@gmail.com or tweet at us at sinceretactless.
We're also on TikTok at Sincerely Tactless. And don't forget that you can leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/Sincerely Tactless. Even if you just want to say hi, we'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for riding with us on this crazy train and not losing your adobo. Until next time, stay awesome, Philippines. And thank you for putting us in the top 15 of your relationship podcasts. You guys really are great.